President Tinubu may agree to some conditions by governors on tax reform bills. The president speaks. Hello viewers and welcome to Infogist TV. The special advisor to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on policy communications, Daniel Wala, has hinted that his principal may eventually agree to some conditions and terms of the state governors concerning the tax reform bills. Tax reform bills, which are before the National Assembly, have generated controversies and met punchbacks, especially from the northern leaders, forcing the lawmakers to initiate consultations. The bills comprise the Nigerian Tax Bill, Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. Now, despite the negative reactions to the reform from the state governors and other stakeholders, the president strongly affirmed that his administration's tax reforms had come to stay. Speaking on Channels TV, which our reporters watched on Monday evening, Wala said that the state governors' opposition to the reforms, particularly those from the north, would give them a negotiating advantage. He said the tax reform bills have come for good and it will be passed. And I know the politics of the North, and of course, you know I am a Northerner. So let me react to that. They are very good in politics of negotiations. Just like in America, when you bring partisan laws, you will see that it passes without stress. When you bring a law that maybe Democrats will benefit more than Republicans, you will see that the Republicans will try to pose a threat to speak until there is a confusion and a concession. So with the continuous conversation on the field, I see a situation where there will be a position by the governors that may be acceptable to the federal government. The federal government may need to concede in some areas, while the state government may also need to concede in some areas, and at the end of the day, the bill will be passed. Recall that the Northern Elders reject Tinubu's tax reform bills, back 19 governors and monarchs on withdrawal. The Northern Elders Forum had endorsed the stand taken by the Northern States Governors Forum in conjunction with the Northern Nigerian Council of Traditional Rulers about the proposed tax reform bill by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The 19 states governors in the northern region had aired their strong displeasure on the recent tax reform bills the federal government submitted to the National Assembly for approval. The governors particularly rejected the proposed shift to a derivation-based model for value-added tax distributions. They claim that the proposed model would be at the disadvantage of the northern states and other less industrial regions. The governors, under the auspices of Northern States Governors Forum, voiced their strong opposition in a communique issued after a strategic meeting in Kaduna in October. However, NEF Board of Trustees, during its second biannual meetings on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center, Abuja, reaffirmed the NEF's strong opposition to this pernicious policy. According to a statement, the NEF, which is the Northern Elders Forum, maintained that in its present form, the tax reform bills is conceived in bad faith, poorly packaged, and it is a palpable threat to their unity and national cohesion. The forum is a communique signed by Professor Ango Abdullahi. Its convener, released on Saturday, condemned the conspicuous loss of voice on the burning issue by the elected lawmakers in the National Assembly from the region. The communique partly reads, "The meetings unanimously endorsed the patriotic stand taken on the raging national debate about the tax reform bills by the Northern States Governors Forum in conjunction with the Northern Nigerian Council of Traditional Rulers, just as it reaffirms the NEF's strong opposition to its pernicious policy." In addition, the meeting seriously maintained that in its present form, the tax reform bill is conceived in bad faith, poorly packaged, and it is a palpable threat to our unity and national cohesion. The meeting proceeded by drawing attention to the brazen, cavalier way and suspicious manner in which the tax reform bills was imposed on the nation without allowing the input of critical stakeholders, even as it kept members of the National Economic Council in the dark, thus confirming the sinister intentions of those promoting this outrageous bill. The board in session condemned in very strong terms the conspicuous loss of voice on this burning issue by the overwhelming number of elected politicians in the National Assembly from the region, and fiercely warned that indeed the days are fast gone when such conspirational connivance against the vital and strategic interest of the region, either by those within or outside the region, will be condoned and even tolerated. Also, the Arewa Consultative Forum has clarified its position on the criticisms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, claiming that it remains impartial and applies the same critical lens it did during the tenure of the former President Muhammadu Buhari. Murtala Aliyu, the ACF Secretary General, speaking on the Arise TV, dismissed claims that the forum stands against certain government policies stemmed from regional bias. It's unfair to say we criticize the government because a southerner is at the helm of affairs, Aliyu said. We were huge critics of the last northern-led administration and our records can verify this. Aliyu reiterated that while the forum engages in political discourse, it is not aligned with any political party. The ACF's official position is that selecting candidates is the responsibility of political parties, he said. We assess which candidate is better for the country and the North. We are not partisans, but rather political, with an interest in the northern region's development and its benefit to the entire country. His comments follow reports suggesting that the ACF might endorse a northern candidate in 2027's presidential elections. Aliyu denied any bias, stating that we do not take sides and we are not against any person, including the current president. It will be recalled on Wednesday that Mama Oshuma, the national chairman of the Arewa Consultative Forum, criticized northern leaders for failing to address the region's challenges. He questioned the efforts of the northern governors and the lawmakers in alleviating the economic hardship faced by the people due to President Tinubu's policies. Osuma also expressed the forum's support for a northern candidate in the 2027 general elections. However, shortly after his remarks, the ACF suspended him for making an unauthorized statement. The forum emphasized that he had failed to consult with other leaders and members before issuing the comment. In response, the ACF Secretary General stated that the forum is actively engaging with governors and traditional institutions at various levels to promote good governance. He explained that the ACF's main priority is ensuring that leaders focus on the needs of the grassroots while stressing the importance of collaboration between the federal and the state governments for progress. We engage governors both at the forum level and individually, said Aliyu. We also work with traditional rulers and address responsibilities at the subnational level. While we are not blaming the national government for all the challenges facing the country, we acknowledge that regions like the North must take actions at the subnational levels, with the federal government complementing these efforts. He noted that macroeconomic policies are set by the central government, which must address any issues at the national level. Meanwhile, the state governments handle local issues and the ACF is in dialogue with them. Aliyu added that the ACF is not placing blame on any one individual or location, but urging all leaders to recognize their responsibilities and respond to the grievances of the people. He expressed hope that the promises made by the government would soon translate into tangible changes for the people. The special advisor to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on policy communications, Daniel Wala, has hinted that his principal may eventually agree to some conditions and terms of the state governors concerning the tax reform bills. Tax reform bills, which are before the National Assembly, have generated controversies and met